What's up, NASCAR Racing fans? This is Ryan with NASCAR Authentic Reviews, and I'm back with another video. So today's video will be the continuation of the last video that I did. This will be new diecast number 12. These three diecasts I got from Farners Racing Collectables, just like the other ones. Of course, you see the sticker up there. Of course, like you probably saw at the other video, here is the business card. Take a look at that, racing souvenirs, and much more. So there is the location right there. It's in Fayetteville, Pennsylvania. If you're in the area or stop by there, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so these three diecast, like I said, I got from that store, and two of them actually got for $2 a piece. So that is a terrific deal. Those would actually be the Darlington throwback cars. They actually had some pretty good deals there. Prices were pretty good. 2017 diecast were the same thing as like this diecast right here. This diecast I got for $6.95, which is pretty much the standard price. For all the other ones besides these two, they did have a $2 bin, which was pretty cool. But yeah, so of course the three diecasts that I got would be Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s 2016 Darlington throwback car. I believe that was to Darrell Waltrip. And then the number 7, Regan Smith. I believe that was Alan Kowicki with the Hooters car representing for the Darlington throwback race. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Of course, the Darlington throwback race is getting closer and closer every day, obviously. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Unfortunately, we haven't had too many releases on Darlington throwback cars. We have had a couple. We had like Kevin Harvick's, which was pretty much the same thing as 2016. That car hadn't really changed that much. We did get Chase Elliott's car not too long ago, just within the last week or so. They released his, a tribute to his dad, so that's pretty cool. Look forward to getting that diecast and so forth. So we have had a couple releases for Darlington throwbacks. Of course, we're still like 35 days away or something like that from the actual Darlington race. Hopefully, we will have a lot more Darlington throwback car releases. But yeah, so I guess we're going to get started into it. Of course, we'll start out with this Fontana win for Jimmie Johnson. This was actually a pretty cool race. I can't remember if the race was actually a snooze fest or not, but the race win was actually pretty cool because, of course, this was for the Batman vs. Superman movie, and they had the competition between Jimmie Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. On the track for who would win between Batman and Superman. Of course, obviously, Jimmie Johnson won. He won that competition, and he won the race. So we'll go ahead and take a look at this. I guess we can go ahead and take a look at the box. There's not really too much on here. Let's see here if it'll focus. Let's see here. Oh, well, nevertheless. Let's see. Yeah, Jimmie Johnson, number 48, Lowe's Superman Fontana win, 2016 SS Limited Edition. So yeah, we'll take a look at the old diecast right here. So these two were the ones released by Spin Master, sorry, Lionel Racing in their NASCAR Authentics line. This was the actual. These two were actually the ones that they released first, the Walmart exclusives with the collector's cards, not the ones that were released in the wave later. That was store wide. So. Of course, pretty much the same scheme as it should be, but of course this one has confetti because it's a race wind, even though there are a couple differences, and that's kind of interesting. I can't remember which one's the closest to the track or not, the one that raced on the track, but we'll go ahead and take a look at it in just a little bit. But we'll go ahead and take a look at the card real quick. Of course, all the confetti over it. The confetti looks really, really good, and I think they did pretty good with the color of the confetti. They got the red, white, and blue all over it. I think it was a pretty good matching color that they chose. And so forth. So, other than the regular kind of scheme that they did, they do have some like tape and stuff down here. It's pretty self-explanatory, even though it does look like they did kind of do something a little bit weird. Lionel Racing, I can't tell if that's like a windshield tear-off or if they somehow double-printed the Chevy bow tie. But I would say it would be a windshield tear-off. I don't think they really do those on a 1/64 scale. I kind of want to say it's just a little double printing of the Chevy bow tie. But yeah, so we do have just a little bit of damage right here. We see the donut from a tire right here on this side. Really the only damage, though, I believe, on this car. Was actually pretty clean. So, I guess we'll see on this side, see if there's anything on here. No, so there really is not that much damage. There's just a little bit of exhaust right here, which is kind of weird. They didn't really do the exhaust ports like they usually do. But yeah, so, of course, all the confetti, Jimmie Johnson here on the top. And I guess we're going to compare it to the other one. First off, first immediate thing you notice would be the splitter. So the splitter on the left car, of course, the original release is yellow, while the other one is white. Just a little bit different. I believe the color of the car itself is actually just a little bit different as well. But yeah, but as you can tell, it just is not the same exact car, surprisingly. Just a little bit of difference on the color and stuff like that for what they did for whatever reason. But it's just a little bit odd. I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that this is the Lionel Racing NASCAR Authentics release or not. But overall, pretty close to being the same. But there are just a couple little differences every now and again. One thing you kind of notice is right here, you see the 3M logo right here on the race win, while the 3M logo is not on that car. So a little bit different with the contingency sponsors, just a little bit of difference there. Nothing really too much, it's just kind of more like a curiosity than anything, more like a complaint. But yeah, other than that, I think those were the main things that were different about the two. But yeah, so there we go. There's a race win. Of course, we did have the Dale Earnhardt Jr. car. I can't remember where this car placed. I think it placed like somewhere in like 18th or something like that. So it really wasn't that big of a competition between the two. But yeah, it would have been kind of nice if they were just a little bit closer together, a little bit more of a competition. But yeah, so there we go. There's one of the cars, and we will move on to I guess Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s Donington Throwback. So I can't remember if they actually released Donington Throwback car tribute for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. this year. I don't know if they've released it yet. They may have. I can't really remember. But yeah, so overall, this is a pretty cool car. I actually saw this car twice in both waves of the Donington Throwbacks. And I just never picked it up. This was in the original Donington Throwback wave, and I believe this car was actually also in the bonus wave of Lionel Authentics. But it did pick them up both times because I really just was not into the car. It's kind of basic. It is Darrell Waltrip, you know, a driver that I do kind of like, but I just didn't pick it up. But for $2, I thought it might as well. I thought it was pretty cool. And for that price, you really can't, you know, say no to it. So I went ahead and got the two. But yeah, of course, Fastenal here on the front. Pretty much a single sponsor car for primary sponsors. There is a little bit of zest right here, but that's probably the only primary. Of course, there's a couple of contingency sponsors there. But yeah, so of course we see Fastenal Ford on the front. Of course, Ford Fusion for that. Fastenal here on the side as well. And Zest. Of course, these standard throwback contingency sponsors. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. here on the front. And so forth. You see Fastenal Ford once again. Okay. So yeah, really not too much to talk about on this car. It's rather quite plain because it is kind of a throwback. Some of the cars back then were rather quite simple. Not as flashy as they were today, primarily because they were actually painted and decaled, unlike the wraps that we have today, where you can kind of go wild with the paint wraps, like Chase Elliott's Sun Energy car and stuff like that. You can really kind of go wild. But yeah, just rather basic, and that's kind of nice. It is kind of nice to see on the tracks, just a lot of basic schemes. But yeah, so I guess we'll move on to a car that's rather similar to this one. It actually kind of has the same kind of color scheme, the white and orange. But this is actually a throwback to a different driver, like I've said. This one is to Alan Kawicki, and the Hooters car that he ran. And of course, Hooters has moved on to, was Greg Biffle for the throwback race, and I believe a couple races that year, I can't remember. But and then he moved on to Chase Elliott, which I think was a pretty cool decision. I do have that Chase Elliott car as well for 2017. But yeah, so we go ahead and take a look at it. Of course, Road Rippers. Don't really know what Road Rippers is, whether it's kind of like a toy company or what, but I have no idea. So it kind of sounds like a pullback or something like that, like one of those little pullback cars or something like that, like a Hot Wheel. But I don't really know. Of course, Nico, is that like the cookies, little cracker cookies or something like that? But yeah, so overall, just a couple, you know, varying sponsors for this car. Nothing really too known, but something a little bit ironic here is, see here on the quarter panel, 1-to-1 scale. I guess the original car would be 1-to-1 scale, but ironically, the fact that they put it into a diecast form, it makes it not 1-to-1 scale anymore. It's actually 1/64 scale. So it is kind of funny that they still put that decal right there. It'd be kind of funny if they changed the 1-to-1 to 164. But yeah, so let's see here. What is that? Toy State here on the side for another sponsor there. Really not too many sponsors on this car. Of course, it's not a really high marking team. This is kind of a back market team with Regan Smith. But yeah, the State of Imagination. So there you go. Of course, NicoRC.com. Okay, so I guess Nico is actually RC Cars, maybe. But not too sure. Maybe you should look up later. But of course, like I did not point out before, of course, the Goodyear tires with the white trim, like all the Darlington Throwback cars we've had. So yeah, there you go. There is the Regan Smith number 7 Road Rippers Ford. Actually, Chevrolet, my bad. So there you go. So there are the 3 cars that I reviewed today. And go ahead and check out my other video if you have not already. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. This is NASCAR Authentic Reviews, and I'm signing out. Take care, guys.